Every day, we hear the same debate about the coming cyber singularity. One side envisions a utopian dream where artificial general intelligence solves all human problems. The other side prepares for an existential threat, a sentient machine ready to conquer humanity. Both sides are misdiagnosing the problem. The singularity is a mechanical routing error. It occurs when one dimension of our world, algorithmic execution, achieves millisecond speed inside a vacuum, only to crash into the physical, sovereign, and social realities of the Earth. The builders of the 21st century are operating under the Greenfield Fallacy. They assume they are developing code on a blank slate, writing software in a digital void to achieve an isolated competitive advantage. These master builders, the global gatekeepers of compute, capital, and logistics, are actually building on a dense, four-dimensional brownfield. This existing global substrate is already fully occupied by logistics, education, and research networks. Treating software development as an isolated pursuit ignores the physical and biological reality the technology must interact with. You cannot force frictionless machine speed onto a world that requires duration to thrive without causing the entire system to buckle. Earth is governed by the tetrad, four distinct pillars that must stay in sync. This model includes the cyber layer, the physical layer, the sovereign layer, and the social layer. When millisecond machine speed tries to bypass the slower biological pace of the real world, the systems violently crash, creating massive drag on our infrastructure. The symptoms of this crash are visible in the 3 to 5 year delay queues, paralyzing energy grid interconnects and physical supply chains. These towers represent a massive physical substrate that simply cannot keep up with the speed of the digital vacuum. Terrified of this friction, gatekeepers are hoarding trillions of dollars in defensive, deadweight reserves. They pull capital out of localized infrastructure to sit as collateral, starving the municipalities and local edges their technology needs to reach. By trying to build over this occupied reality instead of aligning with it, we create $33.8 trillion in deadweight thermodynamic friction. This is the literal financial cost of a global system that is failing to coordinate its digital speed with its physical constraints. We cannot build our way out using old methodologies. Making a broken pipe run faster only accelerates the collapse. Survival requires unified coherence reengineering. Layer 1 establishes a foundation of truth. We move from guessing the future with dead data to the objective verification of reality. By applying Nobel laureate Amartya Sen's capability approach, we reframe unmet human demand as a measurable capacity deprivation. Cryptography allows us to identify and resolve these deprivations at the local edge with mathematical certainty. Layer 2 anchors the machine to the living system through the PEIS universal code: privacy, equity, inclusion, and sovereignty. This ensures we stop treating human biological identity as a data commodity to be extracted. This structure guarantees the system is bound by absolute physical and biological realities before any algorithmic execution is allowed to occur. Layers 3 and 4 introduce the science required to govern this complexity. We use macro-systemic architecture as a temporal gearbox. It translates the biological pace of human living time into the frictionless speed of systems time without destroying the human edge. This requires a shift in our governing philosophy. Look at W. Edwards Deming, whose theories focused on the efficiency of closed, isolated silos. We are replacing that with the system of prosperity co-creation, which treats unmet demand as a vacuum that must be filled through four-dimensional alignment. Layer 5 provides the active management methodology, modular sovereign coherence orchestration. This science maps out trapped ledgers and re-engineers local edges to safely receive advanced technology. Finally, Layer 6 introduces the physical vehicle, ZeroHive. This supranational orchestrator is a zero-custody space where gatekeepers can shed their legacy physical liabilities and re-engineer their pipelines for real-time T+0 coherence. Executing this 6-layer re-engineering acts as an ignition source. It clears the multi-year regulatory and supply chain queues, decoupling the bottlenecks for the entire global macro system. Breaking that bottleneck triggers the tetrad arbitrage. This systemic maneuver replaces the zero-sum compromises of the 20th century with the ultimate and. This diagram shows the first two yields. The cyber node untethers its IP, achieving frictionless execution globally. Simultaneously, 92% of that algorithmic yield is recomposed back to the local point of origin, funding the permanent regeneration of the physical grid. The social and sovereign yields follow. Humans regain their cognitive bandwidth through real-time cryptographic consent. The sovereign yield allows the state to effortlessly execute law as automated policy as code, clearing the regulatory backlog without sacrificing control. This arbitrage ensures wealth is no longer siphoned to a centralized center. Instead, the architecture structurally guarantees yield is returned to the local community and physical environment. If we continue to treat technology as something that exists in a digital vacuum, the machine will remain blind to the living world, and the macro system will crash. Our goal is not to build artificial general intelligence to replace humanity. We are executing intelligence augmentation to empower it. We are building the physics to co-create with a biological oracle. Adopting this 6-layer blueprint ends systemic extraction. By grounding advanced technology in biological and sovereign truth, we move past the era of replacing humans and begin the work of co-creating prosperity.